Hello and welcome back to another video in the Complete Web Dev series. In this chapter, we're building a content management system using object-oriented programming. In this case, we're using PHP. The purpose of this chapter is to get a better understanding of object-oriented programming and structuring it in an MVC way. Now, what I'd like to do in this video, in the last video, we started building our admin portal. And what I want to do in this video is, what do I got on my shoulder here? Oh, I got a bug on me. Let me pause this real quick. All right, I'm back. It's crazy when you just happen to look over at the camera and see a bug crawling on you. One day I had a bunch of brown recluses crawling on me in here, and it really creeped me out. Anyhow, I don't think I have a serious reaction to brown recluse bites like some people. I usually just get like a little sore, maybe a mild grade fever for a little bit, but Anyway, what I'd like to do in this is go ahead and set up pagination. Pagination is something that we're going to use on all of our tables. And since we're kind of building out our first table structure, I think it'd be a good idea to slow down and build some functionality that will be kind of a global thing that we can use on all of our models and all of our tables. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my screen here. And I'm going to create a new branch. So we're looking at V29 here. So let me see here, V29. So I'm going to do get checkout -b V29, and then I'm going to do a get push -- set upstream, and this will be origin V29. All right, now that we have that set up, we're going to go ahead and jump over to our code base here, and we're going to create a couple new things. One thing that we're going to need open is go to core and open up your model class. So we're going to be working in there, and then go to app, and inside of views and partials, create a new file, and we'll just call this file pager.php. Okay, and then what we're going to do is let's go ahead and just create this pagination thing here. So it's going to be a little bit hard here to do. I'm going to open PHP, skip down a few lines, and what we need to do is say use core backspace request. And then what we're going to do is say request is equal to new request. The reason we have to do this is because we don't have access from this file to our request from our controller. So we'll just go ahead and do that now. And then we'll say page, and we want to get the page from a request item. And I'm going to show you guys, this is going to be submitted via a form. So we can go ahead and use pagination to go ahead and set this up. So if page, we'll say if not page, or if page is less than 1, then we're going to set page equal to 1. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we need a limit, and our limit is going to be request get limit. If that works, or if we have that, we're going to use request get limit. Else, we're just going to set this by default to 25. All right, the next thing that I want to do is set the total pages. So what we're going to need is a value to store the total, and we're going to use PHP's built-in ceiling function, which will round up to the nearest whole number, and we're going to pass in this total, and it's going to be divided by the limit. So that will get our total amount of pages. And then let's create a variable called can back, and that'll be like can go back, and it's going to be page is greater than 1, and can forward is going to be page is less than total pages. All right, so that will be most of the, well, this will be all of the PHP that we need in here. So let's go ahead and add some HTML here. So we're going to create a form, And this time what we're going to do is we're going to set the method equal to get. And then let's give this the form an ID of pager form, because we're going to use a little bit of JavaScript to get this. And I know we haven't learned JavaScript yet, so don't let that stress you out, but we'll make it work. Then we're going to do a div with a class of deflex. We're also going to give it a class of justify-content-center. And let's give it a line items center. And let's do also a margin in the y-axis of 5. Okay, so that will give us our wrapping div. The next thing that we want to do here is create a couple hidden inputs. So just go ahead and put input with a type equal of hidden, and then we're going to give it a name equal to p and a value equal to, and then we're going to PHP echo. We're going to PHP echo page right here. We'll close that hidden input, and let's create another input with a type equal hidden, and we'll give it a name equal to limit and a value equal to limit. Okay, so that will give us our 2 inputs. Then what we need to be able to do is have a couple buttons here. So what we're going to do is let's do a button, and this button, let's give this a class equal to button small button info. And then what we're going to do here is let's echo can back, and that will be a ternary operator. And if they can go back, we're just going to do an empty string, else we're going to do disabled. So that will disable this button. Okay. The next thing let's give this let's see, let's give this the less than symbol here. Let's leave that for now, except for let's go ahead and add an on-click event in here. So we'll say on-click is going to be equal to pager, and inside that pager we're going to do a PHP, and we're going to echo out page -1. Okay. So let's leave that, and actually let's go ahead and copy this whole line here and skip down 2 lines, and we'll put another one here, and instead of can back, this is going to be can forward, and instead of page -1, this will be page +1, and instead of a less than sign here, let's put a greater than sign. Okay. This isn't going to work. Let's do another. Oops. Let's do another little bit of HTML here, and let's do a div with a class equal to mx-3. So margin in the x, margin in the x direction there of 3. Now that's just a 1 through 5 or 0 through 5 that we get with Bootstrap. And we're going to echo out our page here, and then we're going to do a space / space, and then let's echo out our total pages right here, and we'll save that. Let's not worry about the JavaScript just yet. Let's just get this to show up on the screen. And what we're going to do there is go to our users.php. Now this is in the views admin users. And then what we'll do here is underneath our table, let's just go ahead and do this. Let's just try PHP here. PHP this partial, and then we're going to do partials / pager, like that. We'll save that, and let's go back and refresh now. Okay, and now we have our little pager right here. This is set 1 to 1 because we don't have the right information in here. So let's go now and go to the admin controller, and just find this in my reference material here. Well, actually this total is set right here. I think let's try this. Go up here and do a question mark, and then just do limit is equal to 2. Make sure you have more than 2 in your database. Let me right click on this. Okay. Now already we're saying the limit is 2. And we're getting the correct information down here. There's 1 of 2 pages. Now this, and it should be disabled and not disabled correctly. Now this isn't going to work yet because we haven't made it work in the back end. But if I click this, it should take us to page 1, limit 2. And again, we don't have that script. So we need to do a couple things. We need to go ahead and add the JavaScript to fire it off to the back end, and then we need to make the back end work. So underneath the form here, let's skip down a few lines and let's add some script tags. And this is going to allow us to add JavaScript here. And all we're going to do here is we're going to have a very simple function called pager. You know what? Let's call it pager. And then inside here, it's going to take a parameter just called page. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do document.getElement by ID. And our element we're going to get here is our form. So we called this pager form, and that comes from this right here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say dot value is equal to page. And what that's going to do is that's going to set not pager form yet. This is just going to be page or p. So this is going to set the new p value, which is this hidden input here, to page. All right, then what we're going to do is we're going to say var form is equal to document.getElement by ID. And now this one is our pager form. And then we're going to say form.submit. Now don't worry too much about this JavaScript, but basically what this JavaScript is doing is it's finding this and it's setting the value equal to the new page. And then it's finding the form by this ID here, and then it's submitting the form with JavaScript. Okay, that's all that this is doing. This was a very simple JavaScript. I know we haven't learned it yet, but you should be able to kind of read this, but I'm not expecting you to know this very deeply yet. All right, so let's go back now and refresh the page, and let's see what happens. If I push forward here, network, let's see, yeah, so it pushed this. We are missing a couple things here. let's see. Let's just work on the back end real quick. So we're going to go to the model.php, and we're actually going to create just scroll down to the bottom here, and let's create a new method. You can do it after this, before save, that's fine. And let's just do public static function. And what we want to do here is just call this merge with pagination. And this is going to take some params, and by default this will be an empty array. And then what we're going to do is, let's see. Oh, we actually already did this merge with params method here. Sorry about that. So just make sure you have this method here. If you don't, go ahead and copy this. So this basically just gets the request and gets the P, which will be what page it's on. It'll get the limit, and then it'll figure out the offset by minusing 1 to the page and timesing it by the limit. So if the limit's 25 per page and we're going to go to page 2, it's going to take 2 minus 1, which is 1, and times it by the limit, which is 25. So the offset will be 25. And then MySql is going to use this to build out because we're adding to the params the limit and offset. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. And then to make this work, we're going to need to go to the admin controller now. Let me find the... You have to excuse me here. Yeah, so what we'll need to do is in this params here, we're just going to, right here before we do the find, we're going to say params is equal to, and then we'll say users, or we can do self, it doesn't matter. And we'll do merge with pagination, and then we're going to pass in params into this. We'll save that. And now, what should happen here. Okay, so now pagination is working. It's only showing 2 of these. Let's try to go here, and there is a problem somewhere with my logic here because it is not, let's see, page +1. Let's just get rid of this P1 up here and just leave limit. Oops. Hit enter. Alright, yeah, that's not working. So what is causing this to not work? Let me look at my reference here. I'm sure I forgot something weird. Request get P. Let me do something real quick. Let me just console log page here. And then I'm gonna go to console here, we'll refresh. And if I hit forward, oh, we get an error there, but it's not staying. So let me, you know what I think it is? Up here in form, let's do an on submit. And in here, let's just do a return false. I think that'll work. Okay. So we're getting cannot set properties of null of setting value, and that's coming from the pager at 109. And page is 2 here. So we have a problem. Document.getElement by ID. Oops. And that's because I need an ID here, and this ID was P. So we'll save that, refresh. Okay, it's getting closer, but no cigar yet. Let's see what's actually firing off here. P1 limit 2. P2 limit 2. Okay. So I think the front end of this is working right now, but the back end is not returning that data set. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this user's action, and right here, let's do an H dump and die params, and I need to add that up here from the core. Save that, refresh, we'll hit forward. Okay, we got limit 1, or limit 2 rather, and offset 2. So that looks correct. Let's double check our model and make sure that I added the limit and offset stuff here. If array key exists limit, then we're going to add limit, and if array key exists offset, and I spelt this incorrectly here, so let me save that now, and yeah. So now if I go back and we go back here, I'll get rid of this dump and die. I think that was going to be my issue here. So yeah. Now if I go right and left here, there's 2 pages. Now if I check this limit to 1 and hit enter, you can see that there's 4 pages now with 1 each. So the reason I'm setting this limit so low is just to demonstrate this pagination here. This pagination, we normally set this at like 25, okay? So after you get 25 users, there'll be multiple pages. So if I just get rid of all of this and hit enter, we just got 1 page, and that's because our default setting was 25, so we're not over that default setting. Let me see how much time that I've taken up so far. Yeah, we're at 23 minutes. I was going to add a few more actions here, but it did take me longer to find my errors and things like that with this. But it's important, I think, for you guys to see the debugging process, so that when I make mistakes, you're likely going to run into some of these same mistakes as I did. Just so you can see the whole debug process, I want you to know that I'm not perfect. I make mistakes every day, and here's how I solve those. You know, you just got to logically step through the process until you can solve those issues. But now we have pagination up and running, and we can use this anywhere we have a table, or we don't even need a table, but we can use this anywhere. And we can, on the back end, to make it work, we just need to be able to pass the total into the view, and then we're going to include this pager here, and then in our model it's going to build the merge with pagination, so we'll have to use that function, before we do our call right here. Now, of course, find total strips the limit and offset out so that it gets the correct total, not with pagination. But the find will have the limit and offset already in it. So just make sure you update. Make sure you probably didn't have that same typo that I had with this offset right here. So make sure that you fix that. If you do, make sure you don't have any typos. So we're basically looking at this limit and offset right here. And this function right here is the backend model stuff that we need. And then we use this right here in our pager that's going to be included. And then we include that in with using this partial. And then we have to make sure we pass our total to that view. All right, with that, guys, let me go ahead and push this up to Git. I like to do this just to get some repetition in for you guys on Git commit. Committing messages here, so we'll say added pagination, and we'll do a git push, and then I'm going to git checkout main and git merge v29 git push. Alright guys, well I hope that makes sense. You might have to go through the logic a few times to understand it, but make sure your pagination is up and running, and I will see you guys in the next video where we will finish up we're going to finish up this table here where we can block users and we can delete users, and then we'll have the CRUD operations done for our users. Then basically what we're going to do is we're going to do the same CRUD operations for categories and articles, and our backend author portal will be complete, and then we can start showing those articles on the front end. Alright guys, with that I am out. I hope you had a nice day. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe. Join me on Discord if you'd like to, if you have any questions. And if you'd like some sweet merch, go to freeskills.life. And if you want to support me on Patreon, just go to patreon.com/freeskills. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.